Is Social Security really in a crisis? This is, man, my man, I think Sabah sent this to me, my Greek man from Greece. This is such a good article. I had never ever thought about this perspective. Actually, I mean, I kind of did not. Anyway, it's fantastic from Morningstar. All right, so here's, and I've not bashed. Just because you're criticizing someone doesn't mean you're bashing him. I've taken some issues with him, mainly the 4% rule. I just don't understand why everyone and their mom can't realize the 4% rule is based on a false assumption that your spending increases each and every year with inflation. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Everybody now, where is the evidence? There ain't any. So if there's no evidence that retiree spend increases each and every year with inflation, why are we doing this all the time? It's insane. It's like, literally, I don't understand it. That doesn't mean I have all the answers, but I know one I do have. 4% rule, 4.3. I don't care what it is. If it's based on a flawed assumption, then the whole thing, the foundation is flawed. And that doesn't mean Bill Bengen or the Trinity study are wrong. It just means we're assuming that expenses increase with inflation. Or spending increases with inflation. I'm getting ready to do another video on, I left it in the other room. My man Banerjee, Sudipto Banerjee, who used to be with the EBRI, now he's with T. Rowe Price, who did another video, article on this, which we'll get into in a different video. So hang tight. Oh, if you like what I do here, buy me a cup of coffee, dudes. Right there in the show links down there. It says, buy Josh a coffee. Remember, I'm just going decaf, baby. I'm going decaf, so buy decaf. And then don't forget to subscribe to my Locals channel. All right, Locals, every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live on Locals. You don't want to not be there, do you? All right. So let's go to this. Two big myths of Social Security reform are, one, balancing Social Security books is necessary, and two, if attempted, it would be difficult to do such a thing. I completely agree. Yep. We got balance the Social Security books, and it's going to be hard. Yep. Right. To address the first issue, Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system. It's a Ponzi scheme. No other way around it. Mutual funds holds investments, so too do pensions and whatnot. Social Security program does not. All right, now Social Security has a bunch of IOUs, but at the end of the day, do they really hold investments? Not really. All right, consequently, forecasts of the Social Security Trust Fund solvency are moot. We might as well monitor the health of Thor or whatever. No pool of marketable securities increase when Social Security's the tax revenue surpasses cost, and no pool of marketed securities is shrinking today when the market program's expenditures exceeds its income. Exactly. In other words, the off-printed graph looks like this. Right? Trust fund solvency. We're solvent up here in 2010. We had 400% solvent, whatever. And here is down to 57%. And right here is when they fixed it with Ronald Reagan, when they started taxing benefits. An accurate Social Security finance would not show the rise and fall of a fictional fund of assets, but instead the administration's annual surplus deficit. That's what relative to how much we got coming in versus how much is going out. And as you can see here, right here, what was that? Annual surplus deficit. So they got more money coming in here, and they got more money going out the door there. And we've had more money going out the door since 2010. So we're running deficits each and every year. Deficits? Huh. Where did that come from? Let's keep going. Wait, you might wonder, as I would, the conventional view that Social Security its balance will be expired in the 2030s. All right, how is that? And basically, but here we're already we're already in deficits. So if there's no assets and we're already running in deficits, how can this possibly be? Let's keep going. Let's conduct a thought experiment. Imagine that when Social Security program was launched, it was financed through general revenue. In that alternative universe, Franklin Roosevelt created a new payroll tax not to defray Social Security costs, but instead to expand the U.S. military. Right? To convince a skeptical American public that he would not break the federal budget, Roosevelt pledged to cover all of future defense spending through his new tax. The military would be self-funding. All right, so this is a great point. So he's saying, so basically, instead of we're going to go to war because the war machine is very profitable for the rich, and profits are a good thing for the super duper wealthy. So war is profitable. FDR knew what was happening, but war, we need to go to war, baby. Just like Woodrow Wilson, war, baby, war. It's weird. It's always the Democrats that get us in wars, isn't it? Other than George Bush, but other than him, it's like Wilson, FDR, JFK, I guess, and I guess it was JFK in Vietnam, was it not? Yeah, I think so. Were we in Vietnam under Eisenhower? Not that I'm aware of. We might have had advisors there. But anyway, point being, it's weird. It's always the Democrats that put us in war. Who's going to put us in war now? Sniffy Joe and heels up Harris? Crazy. All right, anyway, so going back, the idea was in 1935, FDR said, hey, man, we need a war. We need a war. It's good to get us out of this recession or Great Depression. Wars are helpful to economic growth. That makes sense. That's what the Keynesians will tell you. All right, so how do we get this war? Well, we're going to expand military to go attack Japan, Germany, Dresden, the whole thing. All right, so how do we do this? Because the people say, I'm not paying taxes for your war. He goes, no, you don't have to worry about it. It's just a payroll tax, man. Payroll tax. It's not going to break the bank because the military will be self-funded. We're going to charge you 0.1% for you and 1% for your employer to fund our war. And that's it. And then we won't need to raise revenues or anything like that. It'll be self-funded. All right. At the same time, we're going to create this, in the general fund, we're going to have a safety net called Social Security. Okay, that's what the proposal here is what my man's talking about. I hope this makes sense. All right. So again, the military would be self-funding with a payroll tax to fund the war machine. And Social Security is just part of the general fund, general revenue, which is just pay as you go. You pay taxes and you get the benefits. That's it. The political discussion that alternative nation would be very different from ours. Social Security's costs would be taken for granted. The benefit would exist, payments would be made, and the country would quietly pay those bills, as we do today with current military costs. However, the Defense Budget Trust Fund would be heavily discussed and criticized, with debates raging on how to best reform military spending, as we currently do with Social Security today. In short, today's Social Security discussions are the product of an arbitrary decision that have no effect on the nation's financial health. Whether it's a payroll tax is alleged to cover Social Security's costs or alleged to cover the military costs, it doesn't matter. These distinctions are immaterial. I 100% do this. I could not agree more. This does not mean that Social Security's finances should be taken for granted. Quite the contrary. The payroll tax is a major method to fund it, and Social Security benefits are among its two largest costs, along with Medicare and Medicaid. If Congress and the White House decided that reducing the national debt is a task worth pursuing, why? Why would you ever reduce a national debt? I mean, come on, man. You've got away with this point. Why are you going to start reducing the national debt? Literally. Well, China won't buy our bonds. And they're still buying our bonds, dude. It's so freaking stupid. There's no incentive at all to reduce the national debt, and it will never happen. You have to reduce the debt. The first thing you have to do is have a surplus, at least a balanced budget, not having a surplus, and that's never going to happen. It's so freaking stupid. But so do other aspects of the federal government's budget. It little avails a nation's financial health to fix Social Security, yet to run a ruinous aggregate deficit. What levels of deficits qualifies as ruinous is a topic for another time. Exactly, yeah, right? Because we got $1 trillion deficit, didn't ruin anything. We had surpluses in the '90s, didn't do. I mean, it's all the same. It's all fake. It's all fake. Everybody's in debt to everybody in the whole world, dude. There's no lender country. They're all in debt. I mean, the thing can't. At some point, it's going to collapse. I don't know when, where, how, but come on, dude. And it's. Every empire falls, every single one. And if you think the United States isn't an empire, I invite you to ask how many military units do we have stationed all over the world? All right, how many bases does the U.S. military have? We are an empire, dude. And empires all collapse. No other way around it. It's going to happen here as well because we expand too much, we pay too much, and at some point we're just like we don't have the economic resources to back the value of those dollars. It's not about the printing of it. It's the economic magnitude. You don't have the economic resources because you're going green. People aren't going to want our dollars. They'll say, it has nothing to do with the printing machine. All right, let's consider the subject from another perspective. For a quarter century, payroll tax receipts eclipsed Social Security payments, meaning that the plan generated a surplus that was used for other purposes. Yeah, right here. So here's the surplus he's talking about. From 1975 to 2005, we had more, really right there, 1994, that's when Bill Clinton signed the taxes to make Social Security tax more, right there. So from 1994 to 2008 or something like that, we had more income coming in from Social Security as going out to it. All right. During that time, and then the money was used for other purposes. During that time, did anybody say the Social Security should rationalize its infrastructure spending because not only are the highways failing to pay for themselves, but they're taken from Social Security? No, he could have worded that better, but I get what he's saying. We weren't saying, hey, wait a second. They said, no one was saying, hey, you got to put the Social Security money back in. They're just like, we got the extra money, we're going to use it. In short, the Social Security crisis is an unhelpful construction. Today's debate relies on financial misperception stemming from a historic accident. Yep, 100%. It distracts us from the matter at hand, which is to determine the appropriate overall level of government spending and revenue while also helping to advance the nation's economic growth. All right, so I completely agree with that. If no one talks about the military budget, I would love to see the military budget. Just for 1 year, don't spend anything on the military. Let's say, I mean, just 1 year, other than payroll. I get you got to pay your soldiers. You know what I'm saying? But no more. We're not going to do any weapons. We're not going to do anything. Just no spending except for making sure our soldiers and airmen and Marines and sailors and coasties are okay. All right, that'd be great. But other than that, it's never going to happen, dude. There's too much money in these programs, and there's too much need for more expending. You're just not. But it's weird. So we know we're running deficits as far as the eye can see. No one ever sits there and says, you know something, we got to reduce military spending. Now, some people do, but they're all laughed at. No one sits there and says, we got to reduce spending on the Department of Education. I mean, Republicans used to say this. Those days are gone. No one says we need to reduce spending on the Federal Highway Transportation Act or whatever the hell it is. No one says this. But yet when it comes to Social Security, even though these aren't self-funded, we don't have the money to pay for these things as witnessed by our deficits. No one says that. But when it comes to Social Security, the idiots, mostly on the right, we got to reduce Social Security. It's freaking nuts, dude. It's not like that, and that's why it'll never be reduced. It'll never be reduced. I'm telling you right now, because if it comes out of general revenue, it's going to come out of general revenue. There's a guy on here. This guy was a clown. What was his name? Bob or something like that, Rob, who used to be a supporter of mine. Then he just became a COVID Nazi. It was crazy. There's no other way around it. Anyway, I forgot his name, Bob, I think. And he said, you can't use tax funds from the general revenue to fund Social Security. I said, dude, he's a lawyer, of course. So of course you could. Of course you could. Give me a flipping break. Anyway, all right, so don't worry so much about Social Security. It's going to be fully funded. How that happened, I mean, your benefit, what I'm saying, is going to be fully funded. How? I don't know. They're not going to take away your Social Security freaking money. It's just stupid to say that. You aren't stupid if you say that. That's a stupid argument, though. All right, that's what I'm trying to follow Jesus. All right, we'll see you.